Today we are going to talk about positive influencer campaigns, so psychological influencer campaigns. What we are attempting to do here is reframe the narrative on how we view propaganda. So we are going to monitor the way, or we're going to sort of reframe the way that we view it. So we're going to take it from a negative connotation, and we're going to apply it to positive because there's two sides to everything. Really multiple, but for here we'll keep it sort of binary. All right, but before we do that, we're going to go into a review of pretty much everything that not everything, but the more important key points about how psychological or how propaganda supports a psyop and the way that the psyop is tested to be effective is by your outcome. So it measures how effective these particular routes were in changing your view and getting you out to do something. So we know that propaganda is, pretty universal, aimed at everybody. Psyops, they're aimed at a specific group. We know that with propaganda, it's more about a feeling or a belief. And with the psyop, it's more they want you to literally do something about that feeling and that belief. So propaganda is slow and consistent, or constant rather, which means it's, repetitive every day. And psyops time to an event, which means it's specific. So election times, war times, stock market. So if you know that something huge, Supreme Court decisions and cases are coming up, you start to see these elaborate pieces of propaganda, and at the end it says, go call your representative or go out to vote or go rock the vote, something like that, right? We know that that's going to be time specific and time to an event. And so, when it comes to funding the propaganda campaign, the source is pretty obvious. It'll tell you on the bottom, you know, advertised by, paid by, endorsed by. But with the PSYOP, it's going to be more of a hidden source, so dark money. And then overall, propaganda just measures your sentiment, again, your feelings. And then the PSYOP measures your behavior. And then again, we have our chart here, and we'll break that down a little bit later. But before we get into exactly what we're going to talk about today, we need to speak about our aim here. So last time we spoke, and the lady Renee Good, who was part of the resistance, lost her life, and now another guy got shot. His name was Alex Pretty. He was a VA nurse. He was also part of the resistance, and they just straight murdered him. I'm not even going to go into that video. Like that was just bad. Like, he was already dead, and then they shot him like 6 more times. It was crazy, but it needed to happen though, so people could wake up and be like, bro, they're out here like literally executing people. Because after Renee Good, after her murder, it was so one way or the other. But because humans are mostly moral, right, and have good hearts, the overwhelming sentiment was protest. People were out in the streets. Legislations being introduced. So Americans aren't just sitting back and not doing nothing about it. Um, so that's a great thing, right? We talked about that function. How did that particular symbol, how did that crime scene make you feel? And then what did you do about that feeling? Um, what function did it make you? What feeling did it make you have? And what function are you going to do about it? And so some people went out there and they protested, and they spoke out against it, and which is a good thing. Mostly because what's been happening here is that the entity, which is ICE, they are not. In some states, they're working together with police officers. Those are the states where law enforcement is pretty prevalent and have a really good relationship with the community in that way, and they haven't been abusing their authority. So with those states, the on the ground enforcement with those federal agencies is much more smoother, are much more smoother. Where other states that they've ran a lot of psyops in, a lot of opportunities for people to learn, and we just chose not to because the veil was super thick then versus now. Um, so yeah, man. Yeah, so that happened. Interesting to see, and the states where the relationship is not that strong with law enforcement, there is some tension and pushback. But mostly people are waking up, and just a lot of stuff is happening. The lady, what's her name, Ilhan Omar got like attacked on stage. So I'll have to look some more into that. Nicki Minaj got a like a free residency card, free gold card. So it's a lot going on, but mostly we've been getting over a freeze here. I live in a very blessed space to where I'm on a hospital grid, and so my electricity doesn't go out. Knock on wood. You know what I mean? And so we've had steady electric and power throughout the time. And it ain't really been that bad. Like it snowed for like the first day, but after that it's just mostly freezing. So that's just been that going down. Um, but other than that, you know what I mean. But at any rate, the road is pushed back with this latest execution from ICE, and it was so crazy because I truly believe that the first shot misfired, but then nobody want to pick up that narrative. But I swear, it looks like when one of the officers disarmed the guy Alex because he was exercising the Second Amendment right. He wasn't brandishing it or anything. He had it concealed. But when he removed the weapon and then he tried to take it back, I want to say that thing misfired. Like he had his finger on the trigger, but the video is so grainy that you can't quite tell. Either way, though, once he was lifeless, they shot that dude 6 more times. It was straight murder, but it was like an initiation, and so they definitely chose wrong. And if we were to apply that to last week or before that presentation, where it talks about the blood on the shield, then they chose bad. Now, whether or not they're getting initiated in the Dark Order, I don't think that counts. I don't think that counts to shoot after the guy's dead. To be like, yeah, I shot too. That's like, I don't know. Like that's not, that don't count. Um, but yeah, at any rate, but shout out to the Americans who are standing up. Despite all the corruption that's going on, and of course, there's way more corruption being found uh, out. And so I know here in Texas, Abbott called for a stop to the H-1B visa programs to look into fraud. So I mean, um, as far as American power, that's good. You know, because it's at our home base, right? And so that's a good thing that they're doing on that way. Um, but yes, it's a lot of shit happening. But uh, I shared the young man I show speeds video the other day because it reminded me of when I was in Peru and doing my one of my shamanic ayahuasca ceremonies. It was beautiful. Um, but more so, I appreciated his display of positive masculinity. It was refreshing to see, especially since we've been in this post-COVID era, and everyone has access to a microphone, and we've been in the uh, Kevin Samuels super toxic world. And so I watched how he interacted in his trip abroad, and I thought that for the youth that would be an excellent way to stimulate the imagination, an excellent way to demonstrate positive conflict resolution, and just not being so wound tight about interactions, genuine interactions, right, between men. and that's going to be important moving forward in our new society here, as long as we keep it positive and not toxic. And he's also a representation for the the younger generation. So I think about this two ways. Of course, you know that, like I said, I have I don't see things through the race lens because it's a virus, but I acknowledge that it's there, and that's what helped me understand everything and what things work. But I don't ascribe to it because it does nothing really. But what I Show Speed's presence is doing is showing young black foundational Americans that Africa is a huge country developed in some places. And he's also teaching those first, second generation born Africans who are truly African, but they were born in America and got their birthright citizenship. But he's showing he's single handedly through streaming in real time, which is not edited. It's showing you what the country looks like in genuine interactions, and I will say it's amazing. I saw some of the most beautiful countries, and so yeah, I was pleased. And that's one country I hadn't been to, and so yeah, I thought that was amazing for the youth, and so I wanted to use him as an example, his archetype, not him specifically, because he's a young man, and they have to grow. But his archetype and how he's growing up and representing, I think, is positive, and I would like more people to view it through that lens. So what we're going to do today is we are going to begin the steps to change the narrative of propaganda pieces. And so in the future, when someone says, "Well, hey, can you create me a propaganda piece?" Your first answer should be to what for what purpose, right? And as long as it's positive and it's uplifting, then that's what we want. All right. So let's go into it. I'm going to make it full screen, and we'll do it this way. All right. So psychological influencer campaigns. So basically, we are learning how to control your mind, or someone else will. All right. When we learn about occult programming, we're learning that it is all about numerology and symbols, which are hidden. And now that we've been made aware of them, it is incumbent upon us to take control of our mind, or they will. All right. And of course, we have stewardship. Stewart Short, the AI. It created and helped me assist this a little bit, but not too much. It's mostly with the graphics and things. All right, so we've got that already. We went over the graphic organizer of the difference between a propaganda versus a psyop. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how not to be psyop. So psychological influencer campaigns are, of course, when influencers help shape the world of Fantasia. And in this case, Fantasia is going to be Earth, right? 3D, 5D, it's our reality. So what influencers do is they respond quickly to our audience, like in real time. Okay. So that makes them the perfect tool or symbol for us to work together, right? So we can work with the creator or and the influencer to create the world that we want to see, that we want to see. The definition of a psychological campaign is the intentional, that's very important, the intentional shaping of attention, meaning, and behavior through repeated narratives, symbols, and experiences. So that's what it means in a dictionary. So they use propaganda pieces which are steady and constant. Then they integrate that within one main propaganda piece to solidify the entire psychological campaign. So that's just what that means. So what we are, like I said, we're going to reframe propaganda, psychological operation for the positive way. So we're going to learn. Typically we learn about propaganda through a negative lens. So the human does not know, or the customer, that they are being taken advantage of, or sort of product. even a way of life without their consent. But that was the old way. It was non-transparent. The videos were edited and then put up. Excuse me, they weren't live streamed. So, when you reframe a narrative, you're utilizing the art of critical thinking. So that's where you remove emotion. You use logic and reason to your advantage. Excuse me. Let me get some water. 1 second. So, what you're not doing is you're not gaslighting yourself. You're not saying that, propaganda is not negative. Psychological campaigns aren't negative. They can be, but that's not all. If they can be negative, they can be positive too. So you're not gaslighting yourself. You're stating the obvious, but you're using critical thinking to help cultivate a healthy mental, emotional, and physical state of being, right? Thereby enriching your quality of life, because that's what it's about. So, our only job as humans moving forward, as we transition to the next phase of real integration with the algorithmic intelligence, mean that we need to control our mind, reframe the negative, and turn it into positive, and frame it in a way that works for us. All right, so why is this important? So, we're being influenced every day. Every time we watch videos, listen to music, socialize. So, it's incumbent, just meaning it's we have to do this. It is up to us to choose how we are being influenced and to whom we allow in our mental space, right? So what that means, what that means is that much just like politics, when people say, "Oh, well, oh, I don't vote," or you know, none of that matters, but even if you don't vote, it still affects you in some kind of way. It affects your judges, it affects your police officers, it affects your rental rates, it affects your tax subsidies, your grants, everything. So just because you're not, you don't participate in a thing, doesn't mean you're not being influenced by it. Just because you don't watch TV and listen to mainstream music, don't mean the people around you don't listen to that, right? Doesn't mean that the stores and CEOs don't listen to these things and purchase items based on that. So it is our job to make sure that we control what goes in our mind. We control, right, who gets to talk to us, right? Because the consumer has all the power, right? Influencers are only influenced because they think they can influence you. But we control the way that they move with our power by liking something or disliking something. You understand? And if it's detrimental to your mental health, then they need to be held accountable. But we're focused on the positive and positive campaigns. And so when we see things like I Show Speed in Africa, we see him interacting, and we'll show videos later, and we see it's a positive interaction. We're going to highlight that, right? And we're going to do that within the you know um, mainstream programming. All right, so how are you going to how are you going to accomplish this? How are you going to reframe the narrative? Or so you're going to test yourself. You're going to you're going to after you watch the video, you're going to make it a point to check your emotional reaction. And okay, and so I have to I'm gonna have to show you. So like when you're done watching the video, you have to instantly be like, did I smile? Did I frown? Did I be like, what? Like, did I respond? And that right there is going to tell you, it's going to help gauge your emotional response. And we're going to focus on that response because that is the most important one, right? The one right afterwards. We don't want you taking everything into context when you're doing this information because you'll mess it up trying to overthink it. So just take that initial last feeling and then ask yourself, um, You know, how did that make me feel? And then, but you ask yourself, why did it make me feel like that? And then you do that around 3 to 4 times, or 3 to 5 times. And so, hold on. All right, so this is pretty much what you're gonna do on a notepad. And so after you watch a video, like I said, you're gonna make the point, and then we're gonna watch a video here, and then I'm gonna show you sort of an example of how I did this. So 1 second. All right. So let's move forward. All right, let's go ahead and watch this video here.
angry.
Yo, man, I'm angry.
Sit down and bend it. Sit and bend it. I'm angry.
Sit and bend it?
Yes.
You think I can't bend it?
Sit and bend it.
Sit and bend it.
Yes.
Let's go. I show speed. 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 Go easy, bro.
I'm down there. I'm down there. My son is too much. Can you see? Take my go.
Take it easy.
I'm down there. My strength is my superpower. It's too much. Can you see?
I can see it now.
Yes.
I can see it.
Can you see?
His strength is his power.
Yes.
You strong as hell.
Yes.
He's strong as fuck.
Yes.
I see it.
Yes.
You the one.
Yes.
You're strong as your power.
Yes.
You are the strongest man in Nigeria.
Yes.
You so buff.
Yes.
I like your muscles.
Yes.
I love you so much.
Thank you so
Oh
much.
my God, you so strong.
I'm down there. I'm down there.
I know it.
That is too much.
His strength is his power. I get it. Cheddar underestimated him, bro. Cheddar underestimated him. His strength is his power.
Yes.
No strength is your power.
Yes.
And I get it now.
Yes.
And I really understand it.
Yes.
Your strength is your power.
Yes.
And I get it.
Yes.
And I gotta get it from you.
Yes.
And I underestimated you. And I'm sorry, man. But I get it now. Your strength is your power.
Your power is you.
Can you see? Can you see?
I can see it.
I said come again.
Wait for next one. Brick. Let's go.
All right. So, after watching that, we're going to ask ourselves some questions. We're going to immediately capture our response. Okay? And let's see if I can minimize this really quickly. All right. So, after we watch the video, we're going to make it a point to check our emotional reaction. So, after watching this, I felt both uneasy and happy. Okay? And so, all right. I want y'all to look this way. All right, so uneasy and happy. And then you're going to choose a couple of reasons as to why you feel this way. Now, my point of view, I'm coming from an older millennial. I'm 43, and so my point of view would be different from your point of view. Either way, we're reframing a narrative and refining the positive in it. And so this is what I came up with. So A and B. So why? You ask yourself why, and then you see. I say it changes the black male aggressive stereotype. Why? Another reason, I like the emotional control of I Show Speed. And so, based on both of those reasons, I'm going to choose one reason I want to explore a bit further that makes more sense to support my narrative. And so we're going to choose A. It changes the black male aggressive stereotype. So then we're going to go down and ask why. And of course, it's a constant propaganda script within the media. So within the occult narrative, within the script, the Matrix, the zeitgeist, or whatever, heterosexual black males, the black male body, especially the darker it is equated to the more aggressive. And the same go for women too, right? The darker, the more darker that we are, they call us loud, obnoxious, and aggressive. So that just is a script. And so this is why I feel uneasy and happy. And so based on a negative propaganda script for millennials, the obvious outcome would be a staged physical altercation, and that wasn't the case. So right in the end, when they didn't fight, I felt a sigh of relief. Because if you notice at the beginning of the video, I Show Speed was, I can't even loop it here. Well, he was riding around in a very tight space, And in that space, there were just hundreds and hundreds of people just all around, just packed in. And so, at any situation, if you do not have control of yourself emotionally, and you're the main point of focus, it could go left real fast. And so when he jumped out the vehicle and saw the guy, I was like, okay, this is definitely going to be a fight, but a stage fight because it is TV. Well, it is and it's not. But it ended up without fighting, so that made me apprehensive at first, due to the number of men around, their sizes, the interactions amongst them. But the scene turned into a display of positive masculinity and conflict resolution through a non-violent demonstration of strength. Right, this is literally what was displayed. And then I asked myself, well, why? And I said, well, based on the negative propaganda fed to millennials, the obvious outcome will be the staged physical altercation. Of course, it wasn't the case. Why we have transparency? Because the video was streamed live in real time. So the interactions appear to be authentic and genuine, which teaches the viewer a different way to resolve potential conflicts. So the scene was beautiful, which is why it made me happy. And so the conclusion that I came up with is you're going to move to the last step is, although we know the video series is propaganda, it is a positive piece because it displays positive masculinity and conflict resolution. So we reframed the term propaganda for a positive use because we are in control of how we view the world and our experience within it. Okay, so it is our responsibility to focus on our quality of life. So once we did that, we reframed it. We know that we, as the viewer, have control. Knock this out. And so we could turn that off. And so I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful piece. Now, let's talk about very quickly the old school way of doing things, right? In the old world where things were edited, masculinity super fragile, and only because of the history of chattel slavery and buck breaking and things of this nature. There's no excuse, but these are the reasons as the context as to why that epigenetic memory of just and plus the reinforcement of negative occult programming all contributes to this archetype of the aggressive black male. I don't particularly watch either of these gentlemen. I don't care for them. I saw a couple clips of Corey Holcomb. It's not that impressive. Super homophobic, toxic, misogynist in every way, and so I just don't like him personally. So take what I say and feel how you want to feel about it. But his archetype represents the type of masculinity where if someone is even in your space, it's met with super negative energy, and there's no positive resolution there, no positive conflict resolution. And so I'm going to show some very quickly of his videos.
Me because I'm not an ass kisser of nobody.
Yes, you are. You suck the dick of black people right now. You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie. I don't suck dick.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck dick, homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you, I don't do that. I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me.
Let's switch seats.
Let's switch seats. I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no dick sucking shit. I'm a motherfucking man. I don't do no dick sucking shit, homie.
give a fuck about none of
Well,
that
I
shit
tell you
right
what,
now.
watch that dick sucking shit, because that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no dick sucking,
You say a
homie.
lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You think I
Okay,
give a
but
fuck about what you
that
talking about,
gay
nigga?
shit, oh, you
I
go.
don't give a fuck about what you talking
Hey,
about.
homie, I tell you what.
I'm right here.
Don't put
You
no
switching
dick
seats
sucking
don't mean
shit.
to me.
Don't put no
I'm
dick
from
sucking
Detroit,
shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit
Say
right
I
now.
suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's
Now,
what I'm
now,
saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Dance
because of your
around
platform.
it. Dance around it.
No.
All right. Now, before we go and move into the next videos, you saw the video that I played of ISO Speed and the other guy. All right. Now, did this end up in a physical confrontation? No, it did not. Could one say that Black Americans or Americans play the dozens and they argue like this all the time? Sure. Right. We could even try to give them that. Right. The difference here is that even within this particular argument, right, which goes nowhere, by the way, the guy ends up leaving the show, right? There's no positive conflict resolution. This guy has to immediately defend his masculinity and state that he's a man because another man said that he sucked dick, right? And they were also talking about some booty. So these words are non-productive, and even if used in a way, in a setting where men had the capability of emotional intelligence, where they could have worked through that, even using that sort of language, because most men do. If they get into a disagreement, the arguments will get a bit aggressive. I've heard them on Clubhouse. It's kind of strange that they talk like that, but they do. And so once they're done doing all that, they'll bring it down, and then they'll come to a median, a solid median, a compromise, because this is just how the script was played for Black Americans to, walk through their conversations and resolve conflict in front of women, really, and people. But this is negative, and this is the old way of doing things. And this is what we don't want to pass down, because a true man, a true person, is secure in themselves. There's no need to announce this shit. You are who you are, and who you are speaks for itself, right? Your spirit will show up. And so I'm not even gonna play these other two videos because it just reinforces a negative point. I was kind of irritated, and then there's a video of him punching a woman, then trying to say he mushed her as if it's any better with his big ass. Like, he's just so toxic, right? But the point is, him versus I Show Speed is a very positive representation, because when I say the word fluid, I don't mean fluid as in sexuality. I mean secure is what I'm saying. When you're secure about something, there's no need to announce it. And so this propaganda piece, these two things were introduced in the media at the same time. And so I wanted to present them in juxtaposition, and to highlight that we like ISO Speed way better. He's a way better example for the youth, the young men who have to interact with other people who might love differently than them, think differently than them, and not to be so hard up, right? If they make a statement or something that makes him feel uncomfortable, the world does not revolve around you. That's why it's important to learn how to live with other people. So we like ISO Speed, excellent representation. His archetype, not him personally, because you know how that go. All right, so why is the streamer influence culture important to us? Because we get to choose our streamers. We get to choose who influences our mind. Why is ISO Speed's character and his tour in Africa an example of a positive psychological influence campaign. Why is that? And here are some reasons. So, his particular tour with his theme, it amplifies your imagination. So, it makes you think, like, what else is possible? Right? It just expands your perceived life options. It just, this tour, it just makes you feel like you can do anything, you can go anywhere, the possibilities are endless. And so it's a wonderful representation, right? The creativity within it, okay, this humor, the play, the improv of it all. You know, he sets up scenes, he goes places, he interacts with people, he does different things. And so for someone who might be like an introvert, to see someone do that in real time is going to reduce your anxiety, right? And it says it increases your agency. Like, man, if he can do it, anything is possible. So can I, right? And it's going to help get you out of that. And then travel, it makes people see the possibilities of new places, new cultures, everything. And it breaks the fear, right? And also, too, because we are intelligent, we are not naive, and we do not negate the dangers of a country, and we don't negate the fact that everywhere he went, he was with security and he had transportation. He was working with law enforcement. And so, if you're going there as an individual, it might behoove you to look into some credible travel agencies and plan a tour that way. That way, you have some sort of protection. But nonetheless, it just piques the imagination and it helps people, um, want to travel. And it's important that you leave your host country, I mean, your nation country, and go to a different country. It's important for everyone. And so the camaraderie, right? Group joy, play, when you're overcoming isolation and doing things of this nature, it's nice to be around people, even if you don't know them. If you have a shared goal, shared experience, we're all here. We're all having fun, and that energy is nice to see. And it reinforces social trust at a time when there's so much division uh, trying to be perpetrated within the communities of the world. And so it's such a beautiful message. Excellent timing, by the way. You know what I mean? And so it's healthy competition. It's fun, but it's not domination. And it's more pro social. I use positive masculinity, and so this is super important for young boys and young studs, young women of masculine center who grew up with that masculine energy predominantly. It's important to be able to cultivate that and hone that and make sure that it's being used for its positive purpose and not being used as in the last lecture, like a T-Rex and a tyrant and someone taking over. Remember, we're transmuting that energy and we're using that positive primal nature in our reptilian brain, and we're honing that through practice and repetition for positive responses in real time. That just means we're training ourselves to make great decisions in real time so it becomes automatic to us just like that. All that means. All right, and so what does ISO Speed's this psychological influencer campaign, because he went on the entire tour of Africa, what did that signal to the public, the mass? That you're able to laugh with strangers, right? The road is not hostile by default. Remember, we're changing the narrative. We're focusing on the positive that he had within the campaign. And so it's letting the world know that, man, you can come up to people, they'll help you out, use some directions. There were times when he stopped and asked people, hey, what is this, or what's the best food, and which way should I go? So just interacting in real time with strangers lets the viewer know that the world's not hostile by default. And exploring unfamiliar places, that that curiosity is safe. Cultivated curiosity, again, we're smart. Making mistakes publicly, that's important, right? Because perfection isn't required, which is why we enjoy our streamers, right? We watch them grow. We help them through their hard times and provide them that influence, and they have an obligation of sorts, right? Especially if it's a monetary exchange to provide you with good content, shared excitement, connection, and just spontaneity. So that's always a good thing. So I'm allowed to try, You know, you only fail when you stop. All right. And so here's just some more dimensions to his particular, you know, tour, and how it was a positive influence on humanity, and the content, you know, or excuse me, the intent of it was simply to control behavior. So it seeks exploration because it is a psychological campaign, right? But it's to inspire exploration. So primary emotions, negative propaganda, they would focus on the fear. Here we're focusing on the curiosity, the excitement, the joy. Um, Other one, they would focus on the passive receiver. Here we're focusing on ISO speed, who's an active participant because it is a show, and the narrative. In a negative propaganda piece, it will be us versus them. Here it's let's discover everything together. Let's have a great time. View of the world, a scarcity based. He showed an abundance. He showed the palaces, the other side, the marketplace. Everything was great. Identity formation. So in negative pieces, it's narrow and it's rigid. In positive pieces, like we saw, it's expansive, it's playful, ever evolving, it's beautiful. And then it goes on. So creative expression is encouraged and amplified. The most important piece here is transparency. So the hidden agenda versus the open and observable intent, right? So it's not edited, it's not curated. Um, it's live, live stream. You see all the mistakes, the loss of data, the running, the moments of frustration, the moments of poise, and the expertise of it all, and the longevity of impact. And so, negative ones have very short term compliance. If it's long term, it expires. It inspires you to aspire to do greater things, right? It's a beautiful thing. And I wanted to put that out there in the world, and I want to give this young man his props. He did an excellent job in putting something positive into the zeitgeist. I just want to kind of give him an assist there, and just shout it out. And I want to show other people that we have the capabilities of reframing the narrative and extrapolating the positive. Again, we're not going to let them spirit cook us. We're going to take that and make something else positive with it that helps humanity. All right, y'all be easy.